Welcome, everybody, to the Journeymen Lounge podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
Welcome, all you listeners, to the Journeymen Lounge podcast. I am Woj,
You got Bobby.
And Ryan on the end.
and we're the hosts of this fucking train, this bullet train on the way to Mars.
Great movie. Bullet Train.
Yes, it was indeed. There's also good bullet trains, but I digress. Let's get into the episode, guys.
Yep.
So I'll just kind of start off actually with the NBA. Let's flip-flop it. NBA is going on. NHL is going on. We mentioned yesterday, fucking whenever we recorded the last episode. To me, I'm like, NBA Finals, it's over. It doesn't matter if Porzingis is in or not. Boston has it.
I don't know if I'd say it's over, but I would say that we've been very accurate so far in our breakdown of the prediction of the series.
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely.
I said
Which we said,
5 or
like,
6.
which basically was that Boston has a deeper team overall, starters and bench, and that Luka and Kyrie are going to have to pull off Superman-like
And like
efforts.
you said, points. Game 1, 12. Game 2, 16.
So
I said
if
if under 20, they will lose.
If he's not in it and he's not doing what Luka's doing together, then they don't have really much of a chance.
0 for 8 at the three-point
They
line.
just, again, these guys, I mean,
brutal.
in my opinion, like, Kyrie is highly regarded, in my mind, is like definitely one of the best handlers, point guard, like creative players of all time. He can score, yes, but like his scoring to me has been like kind of on the
It's a
down.
subset of his.
But like since Brooklyn, he was on fire, right?
Yep.
That's when he was throwing up like 50-point games. Then he moved to, who was in
He was
between?
on
Boston for a minute, right?
No, he was on
Cleveland,
He was on
Boston,
Cleveland for a bit, yeah.
then Brooklyn.
Cleveland, Boston, then Brooklyn. I'm just saying a drop off from Brooklyn scoring to Maverick or Dallas, Kyrie.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm saying, and it's really hurting
Well,
them.
there you go.
Well,
But even 22 points for this guy, he should be more in the 25, I think.
to be fair, he's going to Dallas where Luka's the guy, so he's going to probably score a little less.
I disagree
Would
with
you-
that. I disagree with that because
Okay, go
having
ahead.
a guy means they're focusing a lot of their attention on guy. Like when Shaq was with, was it Penny Hardaway?
Penny Hot.
It's different
Penny
though.
Hardaway.
They're
No.
both guards.
No,
That's
why is
center.
it different?
Hold
Why
on,
is it
let me-
different? You have someone who I'd say you have a big tree. I call it the big tree syndrome. He's casting a lot of shade. No, and you get to live in that shade. You're not getting too much attention. You could thrive in that shade because there's no one really giving you much knocks. The moment you get rid of that tree and move it somewhere else, guess where the attention's going? Right back on you.
I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you.
Why
Let me
I
tell you.
think
Give me your fucking 2 cents. There you go.
they both are like basically point guards. They both are guards, so they both need the ball in their hand. They both are ball handlers, like, and playmakers, like making their own shots. I mean, like creating their own shots. So like they kind of play similarly. You know, just Luka's bigger, obviously, but so I'm saying like Shaq and Penny, or Shaq and Kobe is a center and a guard. There's more opportunities for rebounds and putbacks.
Pick and roll.
They play a different type of game. Like if he's getting doubled down low, he can kick it, up top, or vice versa. I think personally, I would just to counter argue.
I think you're right in that. I'm just gonna say though, at this juncture though, Luka has been established as a guy who can deal with double teams.
Sure.
Still pass the ball out of him accurately and also score out of him. The entire surrounding Mavs bench, including not bench, but like entire Mavs team with Kyrie, they're missing wide open shots all playoffs long. No. They're missing easy ass, like you should be driving to the lane.
Right,
to cut
you have an open lane.
so that
For sure.
So I'm just saying that the surrounding cast and Kyrie is included in that. You're underperforming.
Sure, he should still be playing better. I was just saying, like, you said from Brooklyn to there, even though I guess he played with technically KD and Harden, but all three of them together didn't really play that often.
Injuries and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, though, is that Kyrie had been putting up like 40-point games, 50-point games with the Nets, mainly because, again, other people were out.
Jerry West die?
Yeah, Jerry West.
Oh, man.
R.I.P.
The logo.
Well, I just saw something on the bottom line that said could be considered the logo or is established.
He's the logo.
I think he's a logo for sure.
I think so too.
It's a small white man. And I also just read today he made it to 9 NBA finals.
Only won one.
Only won one.
Anyone MVP where he lost one.
He was the only guy to do it. MVP of the losing team.
I think for him, like those losses haunt you more than the win. The win, obviously, you feel great about it, but I think you get more nightmares than good dreams from
Do I think that Jerry West wishes he won more titles? Absolutely. He still turned it into a hell of a career.
Dude,
man.
Jerry West, hats off. I'm sorry that he passed away, but
he's GM. But any final thoughts on the? I mean, I think Boston takes his game. I think Boston without Porzingis.
So far, Boston has serve the home court. Now Dallas has to do the same if they want to have a chance. We'll see how they play at home instead of the road.
I'll say this: I think Dallas has a real chance if Porzingis doesn't play to take today. I think they'll win one game, but I still, as you mentioned, 5 games.
I don't think Porzingis is going to be effective. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. Tip-off coming up soonish on that. All right, so let's flip gears. NHL real quick.
Hockey.
Florida is up 2-0. First game they commanded it. It wasn't even 3-0,
and it was
And the other game was a 1-0 lead for Edmonton, and then Florida scored 3 straight game over. So. In my mind, I think it's Florida's game to lose, and if they do anything that they have done in the first 2, I could easily see a sweep in the NHL playoffs or the finals.
I would agree with you. I think. What are your thoughts?
I'll agree because I don't.
But the one thing I've seen about Florida is they might not start first period. They're getting their work together. Second period, they're starting to get that rhythm. By that third period. Good night. If you're not beating them by 2 going into the third, I think they're losing.
Right. I just think that Florida looks like a better team overall. Even though Edmonton has great players. I mean, they made it to the final.
Yeah, a couple all-stars in their line.
I'm just my entire psyche is like very disappointed. My entire being is disappointed because like you get to this point. I've watched almost all of the NBA entire season. It's been fucking great. I've watched a good amount of Hawks games at least until they were really out, and then I picked it back up in the playoffs and so I've been watching this stuff, and like to be at the pinnacle, this is when it's supposed to be the best basketball. It's fallen short. It really is. And on that note, I mean that was a pretty good wrap.
Yeah, no, that's a good wrap up.
So let's switch gears. 2 seconds. I did just tell everybody in the last episode I was just on a golf trip or going on a golf trip, and then now this is the aftermath. Shady. So, I mean, golf trips are dope. I mean, if you don't have them, go on them. Everybody has a good time normally. I'll say I was bombing it down the fairway, straight as an arrow. And, I mean, just like, when the golf is going good, everything kind of falls suit. I will just kind of throw it out to you guys, though.
I love it. I love the goddamn confidence. But because you did. You're a fucking sniper past weekend.
I texted these 2 guys a picture of, I just drove at 300. I think maybe, did I say 310 or 300 plus?
300 plus.
So, I mean, it just was such a good feeling. And in scramble golf, you're, picking the best ball, technically.
And if it's less risk, you could take some
I just
risky swings.
What are your guys' feelings, though, about the scramble? Like, in that setting, you know that you kind of have to play quicker. What, if your friends, what if you and your friends are so good that you have the real choice of, it's no time difference between your ball or best ball? In that setting, are you guys more I want to rely on this guy to do better, or are you I want my shots? One of you fucking answer.
How many people are in the scramble?
So 12, so it'd be 6v6. But we did individual matchups. So not individual, but 2v2 groupings. So all we had to do was beat the other.
There were 6 players, but 2v2.
We usually do just best ball.
No, but he's saying in best ball, if you guys are kind of comparative,
I'm asking your opinion. Do you guys know how a podcast works?
No, I know how.
You know what? Best ball's probably the way to go, right?
Do you? But over your shot, if you're gonna play, you get to.
He's saying, do you rely on the other guy to kind of do well?
Or do you would you prefer, this is not even, I'm asking, do you prefer to play the best ball in that? Or do you prefer to play your own shot 100% of the time?
Are we playing for money?
Yes, money is on the line.
Then best ball, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, but one thing that I could say about my game and anyone who's played with me, I usually will be the first drive out between the 2 because I know my lane. Mm-hmm. I'll put a clean shot out there so long as it's not a guarded tee box. And then, let the big dogs eat. And, go ahead and try to pound one out there. I could usually give you about 230, 240 no matter what. But I'd say within 150, I'm pretty confident within 150. You put me out 150 and in, you're gonna be in good shape with me on your team. And I'm an okay putter. I'm not that great. Joey, if Joey's listening, Joey Dombeck, one of the best putters I've ever had a chance to play with. That guy seldom misses, and putting in 20 footers like it was blowing out a birthday candle is incredible.
Shout out,
yeah,
Joseph Dombeck, fan of the podcast. Yeah. All right, Ryan, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying I did a scramble like 6-7 years ago, and I got matched up with this like young kid who was a beast, and we ended up winning or tying.
Okay,
so that was pretty awesome.
So you could take it back.
So like, even though like I had some good shots, this dude was so good. Like we were using his shot probably like 70% of the time.
We won 2 different tournaments,
but I did hit the game tying putt. It was like a 50-foot putt.
And he drilled it.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
That's awesome.
How did you not?
Or like 30 feet. I don't know. It was far.
How did you not get that the front or the pro shop to be like, sir, I'm gonna need your trophy right there. I deserve that now.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just happy that I didn't lose money. I ended up getting money. I totally went into the day thinking like, like I don't know, like I'm not like I'm an okay golfer. I'm not, but like I don't think I'm gonna win the scramble unless I get somebody good, and I ended up getting it. So.
I also think though that in the best ball and when you're doing a twosome versus another twosome, you really just have to be better than the worst guy on the other team. So it's not like, hey, I have to play like fucking Tiger Woods out there. But I'm just saying.
We got to take out AJ and Josh. Good. I'm going to call them out right here. We'll do it.
Hey, we're fucking going golfing soon, dude. And boys, we're coming for you.
We're coming for you.
No, I just like to, just say the golf weekend, the golf trip, doing it once a year is a solid thing. Mm-hmm. I've been talking again with a bunch of people about maybe trying to do something in maybe like August. It's going to just be like, let's get a good group of guys out, couple of tee times. Go grab some dinner after, whatever.
I like that.
I think that's going to be more of the speed for a majority of people that I know. They have kids and they're like, hey, I got to get back to the city.
We're at that stage in our life. I get it.
But I'm just saying, I think the one-day golf like kind of outing should also be pretty dope. Coming up with the golf though, as we're on this though, I'm excited because we're gonna be doing a little pre-post game interview when we play on Ryan's birthday next week.
Assuming it doesn't rain on us.
I mean, even if it rains, guess what? We'll do a podcast then instead.
Yeah.
So
we're doing something.
Win-win.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming up with that, we'll get some fun stuff going. So I'd say let's just switch over to the album review. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right, Ryan, what we got this week?
We have
I like this album.
2001's from Jimmy Eat World. It's called Bleed American.
Banger.
Excuse me. It was released July 24, 2001. It was the band's 4th album, sold over 1.6 million copies in the United States, certified platinum. I would say it was their breakout album. Each single from Bleed American that they released entered the top 20 of at least one U.S. chart. And the most successful of the singles was The Middle, which reached number 1 on the Billboard Top 100.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's a little fun fact. So this came out the same year, obviously, as 9/11. And after 9/11, they had changed the name to Jimmy Eat World. They had to change it from Bleed American, but then they changed it back in like 2008.
Okay.
Oh, that's
a good history.
I didn't know that,
factoid.
but yeah, I found that out.
Didn't really know where you were going with
Wait,
that.
they changed the album of Jimmy Eat World to Jimmy
It was
Eat
called
World.
Bleed American. And then after 9/11 happened,
they
they changed it to the self-titled Jimmy Eat World.
Okay, I get it.
But then, like, in 2008, they retroactively changed it back to Bleed American again.
Okay.
So,
I'm just going to say, in my opinion, I just look, Also, guys, just sorry. My voice is a little raspy from laughing my fucking dick off and also smoking. I smoked a cigar a day on the golf course, but it was also like my spinach. It was my Popeye spinach.
I got you.
Dude, yeah. I just smoked a cigar. I had 5 pars in a row on Thursday.
Woo!
Still shot
striking it.
Still shot in the 90s for whatever. But
5 in a row.
It was
though.
crazy though. So I just want to ask though, with the self-titled album, is it not kind of odd to do a self-titled album after like the first one? I think it's like in my estimation, I thought that it was more of the first.
Yeah, it was their 4th album that they said their first breakout album, I would say. Like,
I'm talking about in general though. Like, do you not see that most good groups, not good groups, but even just groups in general, like the first album that they release is usually the self-titled.
No,
That's not true.
Not necessarily.
I think they usually get one or two under their belts, and then you usually see one.
I feel like usually like
album.
the third one
Yeah,
or something.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that's the same for like Link or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They've always
Blink.
done it like the third.
Yeah, like their
or,
fourth album was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm way off basis then. That's my
okay.
bad. Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
That's fine.
I think they need to get some momentum before they do self-titled.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, what's your guys' background with this band, this album, any songs? When do you give me something?
Yeah, this is fucking right in the what I call the prime years of like 13, 12-ish, whatever.
Well, you'd have been like 10, but
91.
Right.
Oh, was it July?
yeah, 01.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Either way.
That's
So
cool.
10, whatever. It's at that point, though, where, like, this album is actually pretty clean, right, in general. And it's kind of got, like, a more, like, rock vibe and stuff like that. So it ends up being one of those albums that, like, I could definitely listen to or it'd be on the radio. Like, my parents would not, put on fucking, like, Snoop Dogg and be like, yeah, fucking turn this. My dad would turn on, like, more, like, not classical music, but, like, definitely, like, 70s, 60s, 80s, like kind of shit with more like instrumentals because he's a band director. But like this is one of those albums, like also with the other one that you did in 2000 or 2000. Incubus
Morning
is like it's one of those ones that like continuously like I would have it played. Obviously, the couple main ones you would hear those all the time. But I just at the re-listening of this. I like so many more songs on this than I initially thought. So like that was a cool thing to go. I'm like, oh fuck, I do like this one. But yeah, that's just kind of my foray.
That was a good
it.
wrap up. This album after reviewing it, after listening to it again, like you said, I think there was a few other tracks that really just kind of stood out for me. There was a few other, and then on that same note, there are a few others that I'm just like, all right, enough's enough. But
enough is enough.
This came out when I was, I think, like in 7th grade, 8th grade, like you said, 2001, and I remember listening to it on the radio, but also like at that point, going to the pool with your buddies. This gives you that kind of summer vibe feel, man, and a lot of their music. There is some real talent behind there. There's there's just good chords, good progression. It's not like they're just out there like yo. There's real music.
Well, that's getting clipped for sure.
Oh, sure.
Yo, what?
So that's rap nowadays.
That?
Oh, yeah.
That's all it is. That's not rap. That's just a sound effect.
I definitely understand that that's not rap, but your imitation of rap.
I don't give a shit.
Fucking hilarious.
You put that on repeat. I'm now putting a million records out. I'm better than Drake.
All right,
yeah,
right.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, this came out. I was like, I believe it would be.
He's a Canadian. He could kiss my ass.
Hold on. All right, right.
I would be heading into 7th grade. I definitely remember hearing. I feel like the middle first, for sure.
Oh, the middle.
Even though Bleed American was actually their first single, but yeah. And then I also remember hearing like Bleed American when watching Van Wilder and like.
Right.
Hearing a bunch of their songs either on the radio or in movies or shows.
Was Bleed American not also? Am I misremembering that it was in a Madden?
It might have been in one of like a sports game or like
could have been like an
maybe NHL
or
MVP.
Yeah.
Now MVPs. We're going to talk about that one day. MVP 05 soundtrack. Oh my god, it's glorious.
Hell yeah.
It's glorious.
You're right though. It was in one of those.
I think it was in maybe NHL or MVP, like an earlier MVP.
I think so.
All right, so I'm gonna get into our A-side tracks, which for everybody at home and Bobby.
Oh, here we go.
Is songs released as singles in the United States to be played on the radio.
Okay.
And technically, now this album though, I gotta say, there's a little bit of a gray area in a couple of them. So technically, only 4 of them were released as singles. However,
which ones are those?
Yeah, walk
and
us through.
those would be "Bleed American," "The Middle," "Sweetness," and a praise chorus. Now, technically, I think 2 more should have been released as singles, even though they weren't. But they're in like a bunch of movies and shows and things, and those would be "Hear You, Me,"
Yep.
and the Authority song.
Yes. Okay. Good.
So I don't know if we want to include those
No,
With-
technically those are B-sides.
technically they're B's.
Let's
Okay,
go
I
A, B.
just wanted to address
Yeah,
that
yep,
though,
that's fair.
because those are equally, if not more popular than some of the other single, or is as popular.
Okay, yeah, let's just go 4, and then
All
the
right, so
other
let's
8
go.
are
Let's just
B-side.
let's power rank our 4 A's, you guys. Whoever wants to start.
So 1 through 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Your favorite to least favorite.
Yeah, I'll probably go Sweetness, middle. Sweetness, Bleed American, middle, Praise the Chorus.
Okay.
Yeah, Praise the Chorus definitely bottoming out. I'm with
but
Woj on that one.
Sorry, let me just also just add in there. It's a very fine line. Like maybe on a Tuesday, I'm like, the middle is back down, or the middle is better than this one, or whatever. But it's
Okay.
pretty close. All right, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, so at the bottom, though, a praise chorus. Not to say that it's not good in its own right, but like I said, when you compare them to the other, Bleed American's my number 1. I really enjoy that one. And then it goes the middle and Sweetness for me. And then,
Wow.
yeah.
All right. I have a tough time choosing between the first two. Like you said, it's like a fine line. For now, I have Sweetness as number 1 for me. I just really like it. I enjoy especially songs with the piano, and it's got a good bit of piano in it, and especially at the one part kind of kicks in. Bleed American was a close second for me. I could flip-flop those any given day, though.
Right.
I think it's a different mindset, too, for each one of them.
One's more of like an upbeat, happy one, and one's more of like kind of like a grittier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a praise chorus. I actually like a praise chorus. And then I had the middle last. And
I could see that.
I feel like the middle is last for me just because I've heard it so many times.
Overplayed.
And like it's a great song. It's just for me, like I would rather just listen to the other ones because I haven't heard them as much. I don't know. I kind of wind up skipping the middle more often than not.
I do too.
Even though I like it.
I like it too, but I skipped it on this one because
Yeah.
I've heard it 1,000 times.
I just
don't
heard
need
it
to listen
so
to
many
again.
times. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So B-side tracks. Now these are again for you at home and Bobby.
Are we going to make that a repetitive thing?
Songs
All right,
that
all
you
right.
most likely would not have heard unless you had listened to the album. Most likely not played on the radio. Although again, we talked about the two that kind of were basically A's, even though they're not.
Right.
So what do you got?
I'm going to knock things out first.
Go ahead,
then.
Bobby.
I really liked track 11, My Sundown. That was before Turn Twist. So My Sundown,
the last one.
My Sundown, really enjoyed that one. You mentioned Hear You Me. I think dude, that's got a incredible message, good beat. But if you don't. That one, I kind of enjoyed just kind of the run of that one. There, it was a good song.
I love it.
Yeah, that's my 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I'm not gonna rank them because there's 8 of them. But I'm gonna tell you the ones that were good and the ones that were shit.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't you just tell me the ones that you like and the ones you skipped?
I'm going real through it. First of all, I gotta mention a praise chorus to me. I thought that was garbage tits. I don't know how that people like that one.
Rough, man. Rough.
Crimson and
Nope.
Clover.
No good.
Damn.
Your House. No good.
Dog shit. Thank you. I didn't like that one. Sorry.
Hear You Me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going the ones that I didn't like. Cautioners. That was hot garbage in my ears.
Okay.
And okay,
So
those are the
critical.
ones
I love it.
that I didn't really love. The ones that I liked more, or everything else. I'm not going to list all of them. But Hear You Me. I didn't realize that was the name of that song. And then when it came on, I was like, oh, this song is so good. I fucking flashbacks to the days of listening to it and shit like that. And everything else, again, I liked it. I liked the speed of it. You mentioned My Sundown. Definitely took it down a notch in the tempo.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. I just think real quick that they should have switched Sundown
For the last
and
track,
Splash, Turn, Twist. I mean, to me, that could have easily gone in the middle. But, again, those are just my...
I agree with you. I love how they start with Bleed American. They should have finished with My Sundown.
I just also, this is one of those albums that
Wait, they do finish with My Sundown.
No, they have...
no,
they
mine's-
have
Did you guys listen to the bonus?
No.
The
Bobby,
deluxe one or
Bobby,
something?
you are incorrect.
Okay.
My Sundown is 11.
Yeah, it's a...
11. Splash, Turn, Twist is 12.
I don't have that on my album, I'm saying.
Oh, you are saying...
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then if that's the original theatrical
Like, I have
release...
the
of it or
actual
something-
CD in my car. I've been playing it.
Okay,
and
well,
that
then that's a good finish
does
then.
not exist. It's only
Yeah,
11 tracks.
if there was only the 11, I was going to say this is
a
maybe
bonus
one of
track
our
then, I guess.
top 10 albums. But
Yeah.
either way, those two were switched. If I would like that, and
Interesting.
everybody knows that listens to the podcast, I have a real affinity for describing the range or the arc of the album. In my mind, you either start fucking high, you go high the entire the entire album and then you drop off. That'd be a dope ass shit. Or you start slow, get into that middle peak, and then you kind of come down like that. To me, those are kind of some of the groups that do that the best are some of my favorite albums.
Nice. All right. So as I previously stated, the Authority song and Hear You Me are going to be, obviously, they're more of like A's to me, even though they're not. But I would, those would be.
Okay, yeah.
I like the Authority song the best out of those two.
Okay.
I like Hear You Me, though. I like it especially in, I think it's in The Butterfly Effect. I liked it in that movie.
Ooh, that was a good movie.
And then if I'm not including those two, I really love If You Don't. That was my favorite. I love
Ashton Kutcher, Butterfly Effect.
We're talking about an album
sorry.
right now because you're gonna piss me off.
All right, yeah. Butterfly Effect is awesome.
Yeah,
And-
dude, you're
Right,
fucking
dude.
so off.
B-
That's another fucking sandpaper
Yeah.
goddamn
Fine.
topic. You
Fine, put it on the fucking board.
It's
Let's go,
on my
yeah.
list
Good.
at
Good.
some point.
All right,
Good
fucking.
dog shit movie.
Anyway,
All
right, back to the album.
I love If You Don't, like Bobby said. That's my favorite.
Thank you.
Of the B. I would consider a true B.
Yep.
Where it was not on the radio. I didn't hear it till I bought this album.
Right.
And I really got into that. I actually debatably played that most out of any song on the
Yeah,
album.
I threw that one on again too.
Yeah.
It was a good. It was a good round.
And then I really loved Get It Faster. Kind of has a good build up.
It's one of the ones that it keeps going.
Yeah.
Kinda, it's like
I don't think it followed their style. That's the only thing I didn't like about that
a little
track.
out of place.
Your
I
House
agree
is
with
my
that.
least favorite
Yeah.
of the
That.
B's, and then my
Boo.
skips were Cautioners and I didn't like My Sundown. I skipped that.
All right, that's fair.
It's a slower one. That's fine.
And my album, I have the actual CD. I've been playing it in my car the whole week in prep for this. Just like I think it's just a good way, like when you're driving around because you're always listening to the shit.
Yeah,
That's the last song. So I didn't.
that's interesting.
I did not know you guys had. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Splash? What the?
Yeah, sorry. No,
Yeah.
if that song ends it, I thought that was one, not a great song.
Yeah.
And then two is a terrible time to put it at
Because
the
I know on Spotify they have the actual the album and then they have the bonus deluxe or whatever and it has like 12 more songs or
So
whatever.
maybe let me just tell you guys how I
Let
look
me
up
tell
the. Let me tell you something.
I mean, I always go if I don't have it, I go to Spotify.
Let him finish his thought. Here we go.
So I will look up just simply what like either Wikipedia or Google has as these are the tracks on that album. Yeah. If it says, hey, there's a deluxe track or whatever, obviously I'll ask you guys like which one are we doing. But I just go in the order of what these places say.
Right.
And then usually they either encompass everything or again will let you know that there is a different order of operations.
Yeah, of course.
But what do you guys do then? If you don't have the album physically,
I always just go to Spotify.
Spotify. Okay.
And I go on what is it, YouTube Music, and I just pull the album.
I go to Spotify and just listen to it on there.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Maybe. Well, that's why there's
And
the
if I
discretion.
happen to have this CD, I might throw it on in the car as well, just so I can have it on.
That's such an old-fashioned thing to say. If I have the CD,
CDs.
I got a whole booklet of them.
I
man.
love it.
It's
We
good.
all used to have the visor with all of our CDs.
It's good quality sound. It's still good.
I remember for a hot second, I used to have the cassette tape player, but then you had
the cord out.
the adapter.
Yeah, the adapter,
Okay,
of course.
so guys, I just researched this.
Okay.
Ooh, here we go.
Splash Turn Twist is on the bonus track on the Japanese vinyl.
Okay, so maybe that's why I had a weird kind of finish to it.
Yeah, because on the Wikipedia it's 1 through 11, then it's done.
Interesting.
Well, that's Wikipedia. I could also put my opinion on there.
Well, and
more
Spotify
you know.
and my actual CD. So that's
So,
Ryan,
okay,
you-
so that's fair.
Ryan, you're kind of ruining the vibe of we don't fact check anything by
Yeah, now we're fact checking.
well. If I'm running the segment, I'm fact checking.
All right, that's fair.
All right. So I mean, dude, a fucking solid pick. Who's up next?
Yeah, I thought that was a great album.
I'm up next.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I'm up next. All right, and you guys are going to enjoy this. I just want to pull up, make sure I get the right information. The Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Yes.
Greatest Hits, their 2003 album.
Oh, the Greatest Hits album.
The Greatest Hits album that came out in
that's a good one.
2003.
Good one.
Okay.
I bought this record when I was traveling with my dad, and I listened it on repeat in the car just constantly.
I
so
have this album, and I gotta say, I like it, but they're missing a couple of songs that should be on there,
And we will discuss
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when
that's-
we can.
including my favorite one, debatably.
All right.
All right. Save
I
all
know,
the
it's
a
juice,
sneak.
baby.
It's a
Hey, I love it. I love it.
Save
I
the
picked a
juice.
winner. I like it. There we go.
All right.
All right.
So we're going to be back in a second with the movie review. This is the last installment of the
Denzel. Yep.
Denzel trilogy right now, which is, I will also say, it's not a trilogy. It's just the three that we picked.
Yeah.
And just for frame of reference, I picked
Training Day.
Training Day to start, and then
I picked Remember the Titans.
And we're finishing off with American Gangster.
American Gangster. So American Gangster coming up fucking next. Let's do it to it, Lars.
My man.
Go get a beer. We'll be right back.
Nobody finished it? Heavyweights?
And I am Lars.
I know.
My pleasure, Tony.
It's my pleasure,
yeah.
Tony.
Fucking assholes. All right, coming up.
Welcome, Journeymen Lounge listeners. For this segment, we're going to be going over the 2007 film American Gangster with Denzel and Russell Crowe. This is set in the 1970s, 60s, end of 60s, 70s.
Right.
On
Vietnam War.
Yeah, on the onset of the Vietnam War, where heroin started to become a street drug, and Frank Lucas just ran the show on the eastern seaboard, pretty much, New York, and pissed off a lot of other people because he was an entrepreneur and he played for himself.
Well, also just mention that, again, this is the time of right after civil rights, and this is a black businessman.
Right.
Black drug lord turned businessman, kind of. And that's why, again, there's a lot of, obviously, tension, and it's unheard of.
And his claim, or I guess getting up to that status, that claim to fame, he was, he was a driver. He was a consigliere for Bumpy Johnson, who was a just local drug, I wouldn't say drug, but a local kingpin in the New York boroughs. He was able to handle and settle business, so he didn't officially have business of his own, and that's kind of mentioned in the movie, but, he was an authority figure. So
this captures the rise and fall of Frank Lucas and the drug,
right.
the boom of heroin in the really just in the United States in the late 60s, early 70s.
And it has Richie Roberts as the police officer, then attorney, or combination thereof. Basically getting his team together to pin it down, to get it, because at this point, I mean, this is the 70s. There's not like forensic evidence. There's not like, oh, let's run some DNA.
Well, are we getting into?
No,
it?
I'm just giving you the kind of the
synopsis?
gist of the, like, I'm just trying to give you the pattern. This is
Chomping
late
at the bit
60s,
here.
early 70s. It's not like, you could just swab up some DNA and that'll be that and they can figure it out. So
Well,
just want to give people
right.
the mindset of where the movie came
Well,
in.
let me also just add in there, though, that, again, that one specific part of it, you see corruption on an unbelievable level
scale.
There is no people are scared of the cops. I mean,
the
it's
New York police.
The
they're
New York
all
police.
corrupt.
not all, but
Well,
yeah,
The
majority
judges,
of them-
special crime unit.
They say in the movie that they're taking the drugs from the drug dealers and they're selling it back to them,
chopping it up and
chopping
selling
it down.
All right, so I like this first question that you always mention. When did you see this film? Like, at what point in your life did you see this film, and what kind of impression did you have? And keep in mind, this is a 3-hour film, so it's a longer film.
It is.
What point did you see this? What were your thoughts, initial impressions when you did see it?
Saw it in the theater when it came out. I was graduating high school, or just graduated.
Yep, 2007.
Yeah, graduated high school. Loved Denzel. Loved gangster movies. Thought, hell yeah, let's go see this shit. And it was, I gotta say, it was pretty good. I feel like it could have been a lot better than it is. Like, for like the people involved in it and the subject matter, I do enjoy it, but it is a little long, like you said. But overall, I always enjoy watching this movie. I think it's a pretty good Denzel movie. I actually love it as a Russell Crowe movie. I think
Right.
it's
Okay.
really
Yeah, we
good
could toss that in. Russell Crowe plays almost like an Ethan Hawke in Training Day, a great co-lead.
They're kind of almost like
Co-leads.
equals. Yeah, like
All right. Well, which one? When did you first see this and thoughts?
I mean, this is right in the high school kind of era when this came out, and I think probably just I don't know if it was in the theaters. Me and my dad and my brothers used to always go to a lot of movies, so I think that there was probably maybe seen at some point, but most likely probably just like somebody rented it, we saw it, fucking just. In my opinion, it's a blockbuster movie. It's very similar to Training Day in that there's so many people in this movie that
I think this one
got more-
I was gonna
it's
say
got
this
more.
eclipses Training Day in terms of
I
cast.
was just saying
Yep.
that, like, again, it's a blockbuster Denzel movie with a lot of people in the movie that you end up seeing going on to doing a lot of other shit.
Sure, yeah. Like
But-
Josh
yeah.
Brolin became a lot bigger for sure, like later on than he was in this. But now looking at it now, it's like, oh man, Josh Brolin was in this.
And honestly,
Well,
I might want to kick it over to our host here, Woj. Could you pull up the cast on this and just go
got
through
it.
some of the cast from this movie? I think it'll blow people away. If you've not seen this movie, this cast runs deep. So go ahead, buddy.
Denzel, Russell Crowe, Chiwetel Ejiofor, I'm butchering that,
Huey.
but he's in a bunch of shit. Josh Brolin, Ted Levine is almost always a cop in pretty much everything. You have John Hawkes is in a lot of shit. He
Yeah.
was also the brother in Eastbound and Down.
Oh yeah, that's
Kenny
right.
Rogers,
Keanu's-
RZA from Wu-Tang. You have
Common. He's
Carla Cugino. You have Cuba Gooding Jr., Armand Asante,
T.I.
Richie Costers, and a couple things. Idris Elba, Common. Now Kevin Corrigan is a guy that's in a
Yep.
lot. Joe Polito, Tom O'Rourke is definitely in some stuff. But like I said, there's just a lot.
So
Norman
many.
Reedus makes a
Norman
fucking pop
Reedus,
in.
yeah, he
For
was-
like 3 minutes, he's in there.
Yeah, he has a cameo scene in there.
the one-
Roger Bart.
The one guy whose name like John Ortiz or something. He's like Russell Crowe's partner in the beginning. He's like
Yeah.
he's in a bunch of shit too.
John Ortiz is Riviera. Yeah.
Yep.
Rivera.
Rivera.
But yeah, again, there's people upon people.
I'm just
in
saying, this
and-
depth chart, they're stacked deep, and it was really for me. And I just want to make a comment, and then we'll go into different categories.
Sure.
I thought that Common, T.I., some of these, I wouldn't even call them ancillary, but some of these support actors really did a great job with limited skills in terms of like acting. You don't T.I. is a musician. Common, I know you probably have different thoughts, but I really liked their involvement as his brothers, cousins, coming up from the Carolinas to join him in his business enterprise. So I really like seeing them on screen.
Right, we're expanding on cast. I'm making the executive decision.
Go ahead,
Okay.
expand on cast.
No, absolutely. I was gonna definitely point to that. Is that they do a great job of like it is a group against a group. It's Richie's squad against the Lucas brothers, and I absolutely agree with you. It's like these guys play minimal roles, but I think that they're perfect for like what they're in. They're only in it for probably like 7 minutes of screen time.
Right.
But again, I like those dynamics. Okay,
Man.
Ryan, what are you gonna say?
I have a lot of thoughts.
Here we go. Let's hear 'em.
This
I
is-
agree with what you're saying about the two groups. It's kind of like Heat in a sense, but not done as well as Heat, I don't think.
Right.
But like, you got Al Pacino
Okay.
and his cops, De Niro and his crew.
I mean,
you got
whatever.
Denzel and his bro. I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's
Like,
better than he.
I actually think that they don't get enough time. I think I would like more time.
Yeah, I agree.
With both groups to get a better feel for the dynamic of. I mean, you kind of get more of Frank and his brothers a little bit, at least. Whatever. Huey.
Chiwetel Okochafor.
Yeah, he gets.
He's got some screen
He gets the
time,
most
yeah.
time, I would say, out of them, and the
He's-
rest of the
yeah.
Common doesn't really get a lot.
The other guys are not
I don't
really
think T.I. is that great in this movie, honestly. I'm gonna go oppo of you, Bobby, on it, but
Sorry.
he's okay. He's not bad, but he's.
I just want to mention about T.I. though. I agree with you, Ryan, in the sense that like he's not this greatest, but I think it does.
I think it works for the
To me,
for the performance.
I like T.I. as an actor in some things that he's done. I'm
Sure.
not going to say he's like the greatest rapping actor of all time. I'm just saying that he ends up doing a good job in many other movies.
I think in this movie they used him just enough, where it's just like he has a couple quick scenes.
But I also like kind of his backstory. Like he's the athletic one. He has a hell of an arm that he possibly could be training for the Yankees. So I like kind of that like plug-in in terms of his profile.
No, yeah, it's
and
like-
he has the body, a body structure to be a pitcher. I mean, some of the craziest guys. You got Randy Johnson, who looks like a giant stick, and T.I.'s kind of built the same. They could just sling it.
Do we want to get into the pitching of T.I. now, or do we want to wait for that?
Let's do
Let's
it
pause.
so we can let's do it so we can move off of T.I. because
right.
I just have one
Yeah.
other point to what you're saying, Bob. Is like that also creates a great story though in the movie of this guy's on the straight and narrow. If you catch in there Frank offers him a drink. Hey, you want a drink? He goes, man, I'm not about that. And he's like, I was just testing you. It's like he's on the straight and narrow. He's going to become possibly. He has a scouting thing with the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Blows it off to come work for his heroin.
Drug lord cousin.
I mean,
and ironically gets shot in the shoulder later.
He gets blasted up in that. Okay.
I was saying about T.I. and the pitching thing, even though this is kind of like more of a picky nit for later, but his character is supposed to be a left-handed pitcher, right? Correct? They say that, and you see him playing catch right-handed. In the one scene.
I don't.
I'm not sure if they mentioned him being a righty though.
No, the Yankees guys they're at the Frank Lucas's party. Like, what can you get me? How about a slim left-hander who throws 90 miles an hour?
Oh you're right. Okay,
and then
you're right.
They saw him later at the mansion. He's
tossing
clearly
it righty.
Throwing right-handed. I rewound it, and his gloves on his left hand. So
all right, that's fair.
No, he's for sure pitching.
I think
righty,
all I was gonna say just change it to him. He's a right-hander, and then it works fine. You know?
I absolutely agree. All right, moving on from. So we're still in the cast though, because I got a couple.
Yeah, no. We have plenty of cast to discuss.
A couple other things here.
Tango. I love Tango, and I love his involvement in this movie. That's Idris Elba.
I have
20%, Frank.
Yeah,
that's my profit.
I mean, this is an awesome, and I'm just gonna say like the head-to-head matchups in this. You cannot deny. I think this is an all-time of head-to-head matchups because they do so many so well.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
I got Russell Crowe versus Denzel abstractly because they never really face off until the end. I have Brolin against Denzel more directly. I have Richie against Brolin. I have
is Brolin Trupo. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And then you also have Frank against the Italians, Armand Asante. That's a good head-to-head. And then, as you said, Idris Elba against that. I don't really count Cuba Gooding Jr. against Denzel because Denzel basically bitch-slapped him in the club. He was like, I don't give a shit if you put red magic.
Well,
call it something else.
As the character, as an actor to actor, though, I'd say he does pretty well with Denzel in the scene, like going head to head.
I love that dialogue. He's like, these are words I should be hearing. Thank you. You know, I appreciate you. You know,
and he like slaps the drink or whatever.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is such a downplayed actor, and I think it's to his own
demise. He does a really good job in this movie.
He does a great job.
Yeah.
I would say that Cuba is a good scene partner in this, but again, it's Denzel's calm demeanor in that of like he's joking with him, but then at the same time he's like, if I need to, I will pull out my gun and shoot you dead here. I do not give a fuck.
Right.
Like that's how cold Denzel is in that. Where Nikki to me or
I'm gonna transition from that. Go ahead and finish your thought though.
No, I mean that he just seems like a bitch in my eyes in that scene.
So I'm gonna roll things now. Favorite scenes, and you could have multiple because I guarantee there's multiple in this. So Ryan, kick us off.
Hold on, sorry, man. We gotta I gotta do it.
Cast.
I gotta throw in a couple just real quick highlights.
All right,
dude, chicks in this are banging. Doesn't matter about their acting. Carla Cugino.
Oh yeah.
The Puerto Rican Miss Puerto Rico,
yeah,
super hot. And then you also have Mama Lucas. No, I'm just kidding. That's I'm just kidding.
Okay. She
had
a great role in this, and that whole dialogue between her, like, you don't go after cops. Like, she's like, I'll leave you. And when she said that, man, that hit me heavy.
Did she won a supporting actress, I believe, for this movie.
Did she? Good.
Yep. And then just one real quick one. John Polito. This is a guy that doesn't really get a whole lot of credit.
Oh, here we go.
He was just like a middleman in the mob there, but he also narrates at one point, and he's got such a good narration. But it's the very first narration.
That's his voiceover, huh?
Yeah, so it's his voiceover, and you just got that real like low raspy, like Frank never took no shit from nobody type of shit. But sorry, those are my last cast.
Those are great. No, that's great plugs.
Go ahead, Bob.
All right, favorite scenes. I want to kick it over to Ryan. I know he's
cool.
ready.
I'll give you. You want me to give you like a few or
go give you your top three.
Okay. I'm gonna go start off. We'll go chronological order. I like when Richie, who's Russell Crowe, gets a call in the middle of the night from his partner, desperate need of help because after shooting and killing a drug dealer in the projects, and since Richie and him turned money in, all the money
they got blacklisted.
Before that, none of the cops are willing to help them. So on the way, Richie asks for backup, and he's like, "We don't have any units in the area," so he has to go in alone. There's a huge mob of
it's in the projects.
In the projects,
right.
Of all these people. And he barely gets into the apartment, and then the guy's clearly dead, and all they have is him, his partner, who's clearly zonked out.
Yeah, zonked.
And
Holy
the two
shit.
paramedics, and they have to figure out how they're going to get out of there alive, basically. And Russell Crowe comes up with the idea to just bandage the guy up, clean him up, and pop his eyes open and roll him out.
I know he's fucking dead.
And then
Richie, he's dead. I know he's fucking dead.
I would say I would continue to and then his confrontation with this partner in the ambulance, be like, you weren't a cop, you were a fucking drug addict.
He shot
and killed him and robbed him. And made me an accessory after the fact. And then he's like, oh, just write it up the way I want. And he's like, I can't do that. And he jumps out of the ambulance.
That was big.
And you found him later
dead at the morgue. Yeah.
But again, Rivera, the guy who you said the actor, I forget his name though,
he's really good.
So good. He's in a couple of
other guy possible. You know?
For sure.
Okay,
next scene I had the penthouse party at Denzel's where the three of them were his brother and the two other guys are doing the drugs on the piano. And the one guy cops a feel on the chick, and he shoots the guy in the leg, and then Denzel comes over and punches the shit out of him and bashes his head in the piano
into the grand piano.
Yeah, so that's Jimmy that he smashes the head in. And did you guys notice that the other guy is a cop? He's flashing around a badge.
Yep. He's like, I'm going to have to arrest you for that shit.
Fucking super corrupt.
You ain't got to arrest nobody. Yeah.
Doing coke and fucking.
Yeah.
And then that leading into the after scene where there's blood on the alpaca rug, and Denzel's like, $25 alpaca. You blocked that shit. You blocked that shit. And he's talking to his brother about he's always coked out. He's your fucking driver. Get rid of him. Get him the fuck out of here or whatever. And then my last one would be the raid on the project building at the end.
That is Richie a great fucking scene.
RZA pretending to be a drug addict going down the hallway.
Don't need that blue magic.
Hey, it's Boogaloo, baby. I need some. He's really good at that. And it's the whole way they do it where they like quietly take him out at first and then like they shoot the one dude because he has the gun and the one guy
he's like, don't do it.
Who's guarding the door shoots the metal door and it blows
the
back
buckshot,
in his face.
back in his face.
And they all just get in there and just like a wild like Richie's kicking the girl who runs the
fish in a barrel.
And everybody's just getting shot. T.I. gets shot. And Huey runs down the building and Russell Crowe chases him and baseball slide tackles him out to arrest him. Those are my three. I think those are the best scenes for me.
Okay, I'm gonna mention up top just more of cinematic shots that I thought were dope. Ridley Scott that directed
one of the greatest visual.
Is this the second one from him? I did another Ridley Scott.
You did, the
Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven.
I'm just saying though that any director that does these shots, I fucking love it. The opening scene, I mean, he's fucking tone is set in the first 30 seconds. He's begging for his life. He sets him on fire, and then he shoots him, which is nuts.
Hey, you know what? That was actually the most compassionate thing you do.
I was surprised he just didn't let him burn.
No, he like I said, that was out of mercy.
Yeah.
Right, and then we have the shooting of Tango in the street, man. The 20%, and then he fucking
he walks right back into his coffee. He's like, all right, so where were we?
So I mean, this is also what I'm talking about with the tone is that I mean Frank is this guy, you know, again as they portrayed him, that he is so cool, calm, and collected, but at the same time he will fuck you up and then carry on his day like there's nothing happened. In that scene, to me, he's setting a tone though. For his brothers to get them to know this shit is fucking real.
Yeah.
Right. This is life or death. You're on board or you're not, and everybody is on board.
And also to piggyback,
he's
setting a tone for the whole area. Be like, because it was kind of up for grabs.
You're right.
And
there was a power vacuum
Tango
after
kind
Bumpy
of grabbed
died,
it, and he was like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm killing this motherfucker in front of all of you. None of you are gonna say shit." You know
there was a transition where Tango was more of the provider, and then once he got his connect and got his business started, he started, distributing to Tango, and he's like, "Well, where's my money now?"
Yeah.
So like that. That's why the confrontation
you
existed.
can work for me, Frank. Drive me around. Yes, sir. No, sir.
And
Open
then
the door for me.
I also love just again the cinematic shot of when Lucas is at Frank is at Armando Santi. I forget the whatever the
Italian mobster.
The Italian mobster had his place. They're doing skeet shooting out the back, and it's a wide shot. It's
a cool look.
I like that a lot. The last thing that I just have is like Frank putting the plan together. I know it was a couple different scenes, but the way in which they did it, they got the music kind of building towards something, and then him and Nate going into the jungle doing that shit. He's like, oh, I can get you like the stuff that's been stepped on. He's like, no, I need to go where they get it.
I'm cutting out the middleman completely.
I come
He's
this
like,
far,
we go into the jungle.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. those are my 3 or 4 or 9, whatever the fuck.
All
I
right,
mentioned.
favorite scene gotta be for me the Amazing Grace is playing in the background.
Oh my god,
everyone's getting
it's
busted,
so good.
and then the church doors come open, and the streets blocked off, and you just got Richie standing there like, all right, buddy, this is it. That scene for me, I think, cinematic masterpiece, and I like everything leading to that opening of the church doors.
I was going to mention Amazing Grace, dude, for sure sells that scene so much more.
Incredible.
Oh my god, beautiful.
Another scene that I kind of already alluded to earlier was the confrontation after Trupo kind of rummaged through his house, shot his dog, stole his money, was when his mother was talking to him. She's like, I'll leave you. She's like, I never asked about the money because I didn't want you to lie to me. But she's like, you don't go, like, everyone knows you don't go after a cop. And then she's like, she'll leave you and I'll leave you. If your mother said that to you, like, you saw it in his face, like this utter just...
I would, excuse me, sorry about that. I would just say that the family aspect is obviously super strong in this movie, and it, that culminates to that point of the mother-son relationship. He buys his mom a house, sets her up for life, all this shit, builds the dresser from memory. That
was one of my pieces I mentioned when Troopa goes in and breaks the
shit on it.
That's something maybe it didn't hit on a lot of your categories, but I saw like obviously the importance of everything, and then when that happened, I'm like, I get why Frank, I get him mentally where he'd be like, well, he's just he's a dead man in my eyes. So.
Right, and also I just think that I mentioned that Ruby Dee is the name of the character of the mother. She won a supporting actress. I bet you for that fucking scene.
That was incredible.
That was extremely powerful.
And one for the, I guess, more of the flavorful scene was I really liked the entrance when they were walking into the boxing, match.
Chinchilla fur
coat. The chinchilla fur coat. But you saw Nicky and his, like everyone just dimed out, and it was a cool scene right there, just kind of seeing that like flash run through.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, I think we're good on scenes. What we got next?
I want to kick it over to music, and I guarantee Ryan's got a list, or one of you guys have a list. There's plenty of great music in this to kind of complement scenes. So,
all right, I'm gonna start with just a couple of not necessarily songs
or scores.
I do have songs, but I'm just gonna talk about a couple scenes that really got me. That I was like, this is fucking dope. I love that they put this in when they're going into Southeast Asia in the little Marine or Army bar that they go into. They have a Army group playing jazz. In this little, Singaporean or wherever the fuck they're at.
There's
in the Golden
2 or 3
Triangle.
playing,
There's just a nice little blues, little scene. I fucking love that. And then I also keyed on the Amazing Grace is, again, it's just beautiful there. But then there's also a theme of 70s funk in Frank's club. Mm-hmm. So they have a funk little area, and then they also have a R&B.
Yeah,
where they're also setting up him and Miss Puerto Rico to kind of get together. So just those are kind of the scenes. But I'll kick it over to Ryan. What you got?
My favorite is, and also would go with another. We could even add it for the scene too. Is the "Can't Trust" from Public Enemy. The ending when Denzel walks out of prison after 15 years and he looks at the world and it's all different. And
that was a great way to kind of end the film.
This is the 90s and this is a different time and he is in a whole different world.
Dude, that stamped it. Yeah, you just great add on there.
I also had I like the Across 110th Street song. I think that was pretty good. Okay. Good Lovin' that plays at the barbecue of Richie and his mob friend Richie Coster. It's like got the good love, that one. And then
wasn't CCR in this or something like that?
I don't know. And then I had one more. Hold on, I'm coming.
Dave, yeah,
Sam and Dave.
Mention that. I mean, that's dude. It's it's also that scene. Fuck. What was the scene where, hold on, I thought I had it. I don't fucking know.
Work it out.
No, I don't care. It's we don't fact check here. No, but I mean, dude, they got Anthony Hamilton is actually fucking great singer.
Oh, yeah, he sings at Frank's Club. He's pretty good.
Do You Feel Me, Stone Cold. So I'm just saying, a lot of these I don't think anybody would really know, but I would encourage you to check out the soundtrack, dude, because I'm sure if you like that 70s kind of funk era and some of that stuff, I feel like it's a good soundtrack, but it's also a good what'd you guys say score is just
there's a lot of scores, a lot of
good scores and
you know what I really enjoyed this. Okay, obviously it does follow a chronological sequence, so it starts beginning to end. But I loved all the foreshadowing because Bumpy Johnson is like, look at this, there's no service, they cut out the middleman, and I know you guys maybe you didn't take much of that, but
Frank does.
No. Bumpy Johnson's speech when he's dying is like, look at this. Every corner store is now a department store.
So essentially, but that set the tone, that foreshadowing. There's a lot of foreshadowing, and even when he met with that Asian guy. He's like, sometimes quitting and quitting while you're ahead, those are two separate things.
I had that as a quote.
So
Yeah,
we'll get
that's
to our
great
quotes
quote.
after this, but I like the foreshadowing because it kind of
Well,
it laid the foundation
yeah.
early in the film, but it's also when you take out a lot of these middlemen, you piss off a lot of people. And that was another thing. He's like, guess what? You're going to have a lot of enemies. Success has a lot of enemies.
It seemed like
That
they
was
were-
from that
they were-
Italian mob
Seemed
dude.
like that scene was trying to show that it kind of like something in Frank's head went, like a light bulb went off, like, take out the middleman. Why don't I do that? And then I can be the man, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think pride comes before the fall. I think that was his thing because that chinchilla eventually, like I said, he was a very, like, without his brothers there, without the influence of his wife, he was focused on the business itself. And like I said, Bumpy Johnson's grave every week, flowers. Like, he is very orchestrated choreography, but then, he got a little flash and he allowed things to happen in his crew that normally he said, I would pull you out and kill you. And guess what? He should have, like you said, that flash where he's sitting closer to the ring than, some of these other guys. It's like you just got on everyone's radar real quick.
Yeah, to me, though, man, in general, I just think of a drug organization yes, the mafia is very good at it, but I just think eventually if you're running for so long, there's always a shelf life. Like, I think at a certain point, the driver would have got popped for whatever. He would have got popped for driving, like Huey, the brother.
Yeah.
And then he goes, okay, I'm not going to snitch on him, but I'll tell you a little bit more about the organization.
Yeah, he wired up. Yeah.
Peel away the layers and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just thinking that was going to happen regardless. The chinchilla just
But I like
accelerated it.
like you said, you're on borrowed time because, like you said, the Vietnam War will not go on indefinitely.
ended,
So
yeah.
you're going to lose at least. But one thing is, you have your supplier, you lose your logistics. You could figure out logistics. Not to say it's not going to be an expensive, cut into your profit, but he might have to chop it down in order to make ends meet.
I also
and he
think-
didn't want to. He's like, I have a quality product.
I just also think, though, that the ending of the Vietnam War is like, hey, that's unfortunate for your transportation, but with the amount of money that he had, they
could
said
have sorted something
one of the
out.
things estimated over $400 million at that time is fucking like billions of dollars.
Right.
So like, I think he could have easily
He could have figured
out how to
A
get
to
a
B,
plane
yeah.
and do this stuff.
Like I said, I think he got too big too quick
Mm-hmm.
and too much spotlight on him. I think that's what caused his inevitable downfall. And he says this in the movie, which I love. So we're going to go to quotes next, but he's like, the loudest guy in the room is the weakest guy in the room. And I was like, I can understand that.
Definitely agree.
The guy that's spitting and like talking all that mad shit, more often than not, he gets popped in the face, and that's it for him. So, all right, favorite quotes.
All right, I'm just going to mention one off the top. So Joe Polito, the guy that narrates it, when he's describing, it's not a quote, but when he's describing the French Connection, the process of the detectives taking the drugs
Yep,
from the guy,
and
chopping
reselling,
it up,
yeah.
reselling it. It's just his narration of that. I fucking love that. We got to just mention it right off the top. My man. He says it, so many different times, so many different ways when it's like, hey, my buddy, and then also when he's
Cuba Gooding
basically
Jr. too. I think he says it too.
I think he says it to him, but I also think he says it to Richie when he's like, I am fucked. Like in the interrogation room. He's like, when he knows that the bribe is
but he's like, that line's around the block
Yeah.
too, my man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the realization, though, is like, hey, I am fucked 6 ways to Sunday now.
Right.
Ryan, throw out a couple.
Fuck me like a cop, not a lawyer. I like that one.
That's
Coming
what
in,
you-
coming
that's
in
what you
strong.
fucking
That's your first
strong.
one.
I don't know,
Okay.
it's the next one I had on there.
That's when he's banging the his
lawyer.
The lawyer.
his
Yes,
lawyer,
yeah,
who
yeah.
is also quite attractive, I will say.
Very odd.
Josh
yeah.
Brolin. What are you doing coming over here unannounced? Do you think you can get hurt doing? Think you get hurt doing that? You got your fucking money, Richie. Never come into the city again unannounced. You come in to see a fucking Broadway show. You call ahead first, see if it's okay with me. I like that one.
That was
Then
the
also,
power
do you
play,
have
yeah.
the other one where he throws it back at him?
No, I know that he does say that.
yeah,
He's like,
when he
"Maybe you
comes
should-
back,
you
yeah.
should check with me if you come over to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's our cops actually do police work or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean,
That
he's
was
got
good.
him by the balls. It's fucking great.
I kind of said it before, but like, hey, don't rub on that. You blot that. You understand? That's alpaca. That's $25,000 alpaca. You blot that shit. You don't rub it. Put club soda on there.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when he's talking to who's the cousin? The Nate. When he's talking to Nate as
his
he's
cousin
leaving
over. Yeah,
the barracks, he's like, listen, cousin or no cousin, I'm a busy man. I got no time to be going to nobody's funeral.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn, that's so cold. I also have the when Richie is over at his cousin's place And he's like, it's a microwave. He goes, what the fuck is a microwave?
No, it's his friend. There's
His
high school friends.
Yeah, his Italian
No, it's his cousin-in-law.
No, that's Frank's. You're thinking of Frank's cousin in the jungle.
No, not cousin. I'm telling you,
this is Richie's friend growing up.
Yeah.
I thought he was married to Richie's sister.
No,
they're just fun.
They're
high
just
school
buddies.
Friends. He says
and his buddies
friends I play
connected.
baseball with.
But he's connected with the mob.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna rewatch it. I might come back with you guys on that because
That's
I think
fine.
I think
we know
you're
we're
wrong.
right on this
Watched
one.
it twice.
I think you're wrong, but okay, moving on. Don't give a fuck about no police then. Don't give a fuck about no police now.
Yeah.
Shit. Denzel in this, to me, he didn't have as many quotable quotes as Training Day, but I think that the ones where he's saying those like little quick things, again, the my man coming back to the shit about like, giving people kind of like the advice. Like he talks to Huey a lot of like the flashiness and shit.
I got the Huey quote if you got it.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Yeah, you crush him. Go ahead.
That's a clown suit. That's a costume with a big sign on it that says, arrest me. You understand? You're too loud, making too much noise. Listen to me. The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. Mm-hmm. And then the other one, I don't care what you call it. Put a chokehold on the motherfucker and call it blue dog shit for all I give a fuck.
Also call it red magic.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
That's all I got.
Mine goes into the Russell Crowe interview with Frank Lucas or whatever, where he's like, "I'll take them too." He's like, "Who do you want?" And he's like, "You're your guys." "Oh, you want them? I'll take." He's like, "That's who I'm for."
That's a great back
he
and
says
forth.
too. He has a good one. He's like, "You don't want them." He's like, they're not my people.
They're not my
the
people.
Italians aren't your people.
Right.
I thought that was pretty good.
One, I guess. For me, like I said, when the Italians kind of reached out to get Richie to kind of back off on Frank Lucas, I think even then they were loving swimming in the wake of Frank Lucas. They're all making good money. But they also, like I said, they never went to bat for him because he's like, "I'll give you peace of mind." And that's another quote. He's like, "I don't have peace of mind right now.
I'm not feeling very safe.
Yeah, I'm
right
not
now.
feeling very safe." And I think Dominic, I think that was his name in the
You're right.
Dominic knew that all he had to do is play the intermediate game, like short to intermediate game, because
Who's the Dominic? The mob boss?
The mob boss.
Dominic Catano.
So everything could go back to the way it was.
was
So,
Dominic
like I
Catano.
said, I think he was just treading water until Frank inevitably, kind of outshot his shot.
I love when they're leaving the house, Frank and his wife.
Dominic
and they're
Catano.
like-
I got it right. Let the record show.
They look at us like we're the help. They look at us like I'm Santa Claus and it's fucking Christmas. And he throws the cigar out that he
I
gave.
love that.
Yeah,
Fuck
that Dominic
you.
gave him right before he hops
Yeah.
in the car. I love that.
That's good.
And
yeah.
the whole comment, like, yeah, if we bring in Frank Lucas, there's gonna be 100,000 people out of work. So it's like I think that was mentioned or something like that.
Yeah, Richie says that.
Yeah, so
I don't think they want this guy to get caught.
Yeah, they don't want too many people getting paid.
Yeah.
So that one hit for me too. I mean, the 20%, that's my favorite one though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, but also like the
20%.
20%, and then he puts his finger on the dollar, and
Yep.
he's just like,
And slides it. He had $5 and he had another $1. He's like,
Yeah.
here you go,
oh,
20%.
I mean, great. That's one of my favorite scenes. But
What
all
a
right.
great fucking movie.
Okay, I got some others, and then
Yeah,
I
we'll
also,
do picky nits.
But I got some others first.
All right,
so
here we
just
go.
like just
What's-
random shit that I
Random. Okay, random.
I just kind of pulled out that I was like, this is fucking hilarious or this is cool. RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan has a Wu-Tang Clan tattoo on his shoulder, and it's in the movie, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. Like, Wu-Tang isn't going to be created for
Wu-Tang.
40 years or 30 years, I also, in all of these movies, I really kind of look at these like, there's always one guy that gets the downfall. It's fucking Jimmy, the driver.
Yeah.
He gets busted for shooting his girl outside.
Yeah.
They get him for attempted murder, and then it's over. It's like he's wearing a wire then, and it starts the
That was
downfall.
their end. Yeah.
I just literally put down fucking Jimmy. Like, this fucking cocksucker.
You ruined a good thing. Yeah.
Right. I do love the late 60s, 70s wardrobe, I will say.
Love it. Yeah.
It
Love the wardrobe.
Dude, especially
in
all the
this.
pimp stuff looks so fucking great.
Nikki with a Cuba Gooding.
I did have a question. I don't know if you guys knew this. Does the one guy, as they're chasing him, I don't remember exactly who they're chasing, but does he go down the Joker staircase? They show him going down a staircase at one point.
No, it's not that steep.
It's not the same one?
No, it can't be.
Which guy?
The guy that they're trailing in that yellow Jeep when he hands off that, $20,000? Is that what you're referring to? And he goes into New York and Russell Crowe's.
Oh, like when he gives the money to the one guy and then Josh Brolin and then pick it up.
Yeah.
You saying that part?
No.
Oh.
It's before that. It's a fuck. I don't know, man.
I don't remember that large of a staircase where someone had to descend.
It's not straight on. If it was straight on, I could be like, yeah, that's the Joker staircase.
But even still, that's a lot of steps.
On the
man.
angle, I'm just thinking it's New York. You would think that they would use some of the actual scenery and stuff because they definitely, if it wasn't New York, they definitely use Lower Wacker for the.
Is the Joker staircase the same staircase as the Exorcist staircase? Is that different?
No, that's
different. I think.
You guys know what I'm talking
Wait,
about?
yeah,
Yes,
I know
yes,
which one.
it's
I think they're
different.
different.
Like the last scene or whatever.
It is different.
Yeah, where he jumps out the window.
Yeah,
I will tell you, it definitely is different.
That's a good question, but I don't think so. If I had to
They're
take
both
a
like
guess.
huge staircases in the city of New
All
York.
right.
Okay, before we get into the Nicky Piss and stuff like that, picking nits. What? Just do you got some stuff?
No, I didn't know if we were doing our any acting, like our supporting performance, our favorite of those, or
You know what?
that
We'll do
guy-
out of the canon. What was your favorite supporting actor in this?
what do you want to go over?
I mean, would Brolin consider to? Be
Yeah, absolutely.
Brolin, Trupo.
Trupo was.
Yeah, he's great.
I go Idris Elba. I wish he was in it more, honestly. But Josh Brolin's a great choice as well. I like him. Tango, Idris Elba. Also, Cuba's really good. He should have got more scenes too.
You know what?
Like
I'm
two
going to go
scenes.
against the grain on this. I really liked. I know he's only in the movie for fucking like 10 minutes, not even. But Bumpy Johnson, I liked.
Clarence Williams III.
I liked his involvement and
excellent character actor.
and just kind of how it sets the tone.
I had
right
a lot.
away.
There's so many good people. Like even like Carla Gugino's really good. Ted Levine, John Ortiz we mentioned. They're like everybody's pretty solid. You know, and this RZA even.
I was gonna say it goes down the list of like,
Yeah.
hey, you have easily 10 to 15 people who have prominent
Yeah.
roles in this that I'm like, they did it great there. They
Yeah.
did great.
Even though they have like maybe 5 minutes of screen time. Or
Right.
something,
Right.
You know?
All right, so yeah, let's go to our picky nits.
Well,
Or, sorry.
no. Let's do. I like the spin-off thing. I think we should keep doing that.
That's cool.
Well, we
what else
usually
you got,
close
Ryan?
on that.
What
but
do
I
you
had a few for the That Guy Awards if we want to do that.
we could do that
but
guy. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's 3 obvious choices. I think you got Richie Coster. He's in a bunch of shit. He's in like Creed and
Batman.
Dark Knight. Kevin Corrigan, Goodfellas, Pineapple Express.
Wait, didn't mention Kevin Corrigan. I
Grounded for
love
Life.
Kevin
Yes,
Corrigan.
thank you. Sorry, that was the name.
And then me, this is like a personal one I would pick just because me, the guy who plays a Bruiser who's in Richie's Cop Crew, he's the gay guy from Seinfeld, who's the who does not wear the ribbon? And he's in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Bad
That's
Boys
him.
2. He's also one of the Spanish cops who they kind of
Who's the other the African American dude part of Richie's crew? I liked
RZA?
him. Yeah,
RZA.
he had a great on-screen performance, I think too.
And there's a couple more, but those are like the 3 I think that were like my main
And
ones.
the dude opposite of Kenny Powers, he's that guy for me.
Yeah, I mean, John Hawkes as that guy. He's in
Yeah.
a bunch of shit. Joe Morton from T2.
Joe Polito.
Joe Polito, I had him. Roger Guinevere Smith, who's Frank's cousin. He's in a bunch of Spike Lee movies, like
Okay.
He Got Game and shit.
Okay.
There's a bunch. So that's
Okay, no, that's good. I like that guy. I got again. If we want to do the picky nits first, and then we do spin-offs.
Yeah, either way, I'm good.
we got to do spin-offs at some point.
We will.
Let me just mention these 2 things here real quick though, because again, I don't want to necessarily get into a huge discussion. We just don't need to do
Okay.
it. I do very much enjoy a movie that does have some factual relevance and stuff like that. And I've seen, a bunch of documentaries about, the Nixon administration is right during this time.
Right.
And the fact of the war on drugs that they're
Yep.
promoting in the front of the, American public, but then it is also kind of semi-proven, plus also, kind of people have accused the Nixon administration and these,
The
corrupt
Contras in Nicaragua.
corrupt
Come on,
people
I mean,
of actually supplying drugs to
Yeah.
America, like and into obviously less socioeconomic areas. I just think that it's a cool kind of aspect to like portraying the film of like you're seeing like another avenue of like, oh shit, that's happening, but it's also happening across the fucking America. Like we're just seeing really New York.
Right. No, like I said, I think the veil's over our eyes for the amount of involvement with police, with the government, with a
And
lot of layers.
It's corruption on a massive.
And you know what that
yeah.
actually leads me to? Not so much of a notable quote, but he said when the government agent comes in. He's like, what you're telling me, the storyline of this will be that the military is supplying drugs to,
Right.
so he had
Roger Bart.
And that I didn't really, so if we're going to, let's go to picky nits. I didn't like the fact that he called out Richie for, for that whole Jewish comment. When he was like, yeah, the American mob, or, that.
He says
he says something really like just belligerent. And I was like, it just didn't sit well with me. I don't think it was organic to the conversation.
I was going to say, it did not seem like it fit in
I thought it was
meeting,
forced.
A meeting again with I think it was the guy, Ted Levine is a chief of police somewhere, or even above that. And Richie is a high detective on a special crimes unit. It's like, I think there could have been a little bit more like professionalism there. It kind of went out the window.
But I understand where the general stopped in. The moment that they were starting to strip like the guys out of their coffins.
Dead soldiers.
I'd be like, nope, sorry, that's where it
permission.
ends.
I don't need your permission.
Yeah.
So
that was one of my picky nits.
Okay, before we get into the other picky nits, though, I do just want to mention here. So Ridley Scott directing, banger. I mean, dude, this guy's awesome. But I also saw that Nick Pileggi produced it. Nick Pileggi wrote the book that Goodfellas is based on.
It's had a lot of different dynamics
and he's
that
also,
could be applicable. Yeah,
I'm just saying, I love that mafia aspect in there.
Yeah, I love this movie.
It's so fucking. I didn't want to. It's not compared to Goodfellas, but it's in the same realm.
I put it in the same realm of it. Hell
mafia type shit. Okay, so picky nits. What do you got, Ryan?
Well, I already mentioned the T.I. thing,
the pitching thing. Yeah.
Again, I said I would like more time with both of the crews, like getting just like the dynamics of them more, like the honest cop squad and the brothers of Frank. I think we only got very little of them, very surface level. It's a long movie though, so you can't fit that in. I understand. I think I would like more violence and a little more action, and then maybe a few more Denzel memorable like lines or. Like I know he's kind of like his character's kind of the quiet type, like so it's kind of hard to fit that in. But I just like with Training, Remember the Titans. I feel like he has more, like you said, more quotable scenes, more of him cooking, so to speak. Let Denzel cook, a little bit more. That's what I would say.
I would just kind of go against that in the sense that this is definitely one of the movies that I probably saw and I go, already Denzel is a phenomenal actor. To me, this is one that. It made it so, like, in my mind, he didn't have to be a badass in your face. I'm going to, like, basically overpower
less is more.
you.
Less is more.
In my mind, the playing back to people, I still felt like him being a great actor and, doing Denzel things. That's just my take on it.
No, that's cool. I don't know. Like, for me, I really do like this movie. I just feel like something's missing in it. Some special quality where it doesn't make me want to come back as often as I do to a Goodfellas or... It's not as fun or something. I don't know how, like, even maybe like it would be like I think Ridley Scott's one of the best directors. I would love to see if Scorsese directed this, or maybe more of a guy who does these type of movies. How it would different it would look.
Okay.
Not that this is bad.
I wish we had.
It's not bad. I'm just saying, like,
one scene that I wish we could have maybe dive deeper into.
You were looking for the word delve.
Delve. There it is. Delve. Words.
Delve deeper.
Graphic.
I am for sure putting delve right.
Was when the one car was taking a shot at Frank and his wife outside of the Chinese on Christmas.
Yeah.
I wish that we could, like, I'm not sure they really explored that much. That's when he had a conversation with Dominic, but that's all it was. It was just a conversation, and then that was that.
I would say, too, I wish that the one scene where his partner jumps out of the ambulance, that Russell Crowe chased him down, the little chase scene, I think that would have been nice.
So I'll just also jump on that, though. Like, how do the ambulance workers not overhear? Like, they are screaming in the back of the ambulance that he's making a blah, blah, blah. I'm also looking at it like, okay, corruption is widespread in the city, but wouldn't you think that maybe there would have been a report anyway about, like...
I heard them say this,
yeah, like, hey, what the fuck?
I like that Richie was the North Star. He wasn't going to be, he wasn't going to be corrupted. So it was perfect. I think Russell Crowe is the great co-lead for this. So, like I said, I think Denzel, and this is to his credit, he allows others to shine because, he could easily take center stage and spotlight. He doesn't need to. That's the reality. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
We're doing our spin-offs.
The last one that I'll just end with here is like, as I kind of just like read, I like to always, this is how I do it, is that if I know that it's a historical story, historical basis for the movie, I will watch the movie and then I will read an article,
Do a little
Wikipedia,
research,
whatever, to just see like, was this close to what actually happened?
It
Obviously,
really wasn't.
There's some liberties taken
A
with,
lot, yeah. I read that, yeah.
with to make it a movie. I'm fine with those stuff. I've been to
For sure.
able to see that. But like Frank still does. He was sentenced to 70 years plus, I think, in jail. In real life, he got out in 6 off of the 70-year bid. Then he went back.
He went
to
back
jail
because
for
he
another
did
7 years.
in '84. He did another heroin
distribution and stuff
setup, and then he went away for
So
7.
like in my picky nit though is that how does he not end up dead in jail? He definitely has the mob on his ass.
No, I know, but he's a valuable guy. The knowledge, he knows a lot of contacts. I mean, I hate to say it, being a broker will keep you alive.
But at that point he already snitched on everybody. Everybody should have known
that's a good point.
that he was the snitch.
Maybe they kept him isolated for that exact reason. Because you're right, he put cops in there. He put
maybe federal protection.
Well, he wasn't when his protection to start, and then he went to jail, and then he went back to jail. Yeah.
But like I said, maybe I'm not saying the heat wore off, but at least
I'm saying in the terms of a 13-year bid, where you are a kingpin, and again, people know that you snitched for sure.
You're right. You have a target.
How
you're right.
That's just my last one.
That's a fair point.
I kind of wish too, just really quick, that Denzel and Russell Crowe have more scenes together. I know they don't meet till the very end. I would maybe longer with them together. I think they're really good when they're in that scene.
With the coffee pushing, that whole scene, and then that's a line out the door longer than that one.
That's kind of like their Heat diner scene.
Yes,
where it's like
yes, 100%.
both of them are meeting face to face, but then the movie just kind of ends. It's like, oh damn, we were waiting for that like the whole time.
Dude, I love it. The coffee just now I'm pushing it back your direction.
I agree with you, Ryan. There could have been more head to head with Denzel and Richie, but I also think that it plays into the story.
Yeah, I know it's like based on a true story.
But I'm just saying, based on the fact that if a special victims unit is that close to a guy, like that's why Frank was gone unnoticed for so long. I
like to see them, like his interaction with the whole crew, and they were like fingering everybody. Like it was a very montage.
Oh, even that
montaged over very quickly.
Yeah, that would have been good.
It was, and then Trupo was like sitting outside with his paper and the gun.
Because it seemed like they were having fun in the scene. Like Denzel's laughing, like, oh, this guy and this guy. Oh, this guy does this. Like,
he walked him right through the entire setup.
It's like a 30-second minute like montage.
Right.
So you're saying explore a little bit more.
Yeah, because like we were waiting the whole time for these two main guys, the whole movie to interact,
to a climax, if you will.
Right, and then it's like very quick, and then that's it.
I agree,
and the movie's over.
Yeah, they kind of butchered that little last part.
Again,
I disagree. I think that if you really added a lot of weight to going through each one of these, we don't know a lot of these contexts. Like you said, you only have so many characters you could actually like provide in a given amount of time. So if they took the time and now he's pointing fingers at everyone, you kind of got to understand who the hell he's pointing fingers to. There's going to be a lot of people that you're like, who?
But I think what Ryan was just saying though is that like you could have added in 2 or 3 scenes with like Denzel getting booked and Richie is like booking him into the.
Oh, you're saying that?
I thought you were the whole part where they're like, okay, break it down for us, Frank. Okay, this guy does this guy does that. Oh shit! I didn't know this guy was whatever. Oh, this guy was
okay.
That?
You could have added in something where you're like, oh, we never saw that until Frank broke it down. Hey, this is how I got
Again,
this is kind of going to lead into our spin-off category.
Okay, let's run right into it.
This movie works better as a series than a movie. There's so many things.
It easily could be
characters, details, plots. I think it would be great as like a series on HBO, like a 70s, like The Wire kind of thing. Like to me, like it's.
Can I just mention though
Sure.
that I feel like you're going to run into that anytime a movie is trying to span 5 to 6 years of high action pace shit.
Well, to me, the problem with this movie is you got like almost like 2 movies in one, and you're trying to cram so much into it. Like you got Richie's part of it, and you got Denzel's part of it, and you could easily make a movie with both of those alone.
Yeah,
and
standalone.
And
I
not
get you.
Focus on the other part. So every time you're kind of taking away from each thing because you have to focus on both, and you only have 2.5 hours to do so. Which
I could see that.
And they do an admirable job.
This is just under 3, so it's
sure they do a great job of doing it. It's a lot to tackle. Is all I'm saying. I think and we could say this about a lot of movies, like they'd be better as series, but I think this one in particular would definitely serve better as
I don't think that they'd
series.
have think about the filming and production having all those big names on.
That's
There's
the problem.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
again, yeah.
You'd have to, you'd have
I would
to
love to have the
shorten
purse
stuff
to
up.
make that happen, but yeah.
So, I will start with my spinoff.
Yep.
I would like to see definitely young Frank in North Carolina.
Oh, see, nice.
I'm just saying, just with his one story of his cousin.
I actually had Oppo. I went young Richie with all of his mob friends growing up in high school.
That'd be cool.
Oh, those are pretty good. Me, I wanted to see a little bit more Cuba Gooding Jr.
Absolutely.
I wanted him in his early days basically getting himself up to, because he was on business, like he got himself on a magazine. So I'd love to see his kind of growth and his rise to fandom.
Yeah,
I guess.
my other one would also be though Bumpy Johnson. How did Bumpy Johnson kind of come to power to be? Because like when we see him, he's like 70. He's
But
like an old
he
dude.
unified because everyone knows, they said if Bumpy was around, it was safer because they know that they'd get theirs if they try to do some stupid shit.
Totally get that. I'm just saying though, is like Bumpy Johnson is like a more powerful younger guy who could do shit.
Yeah.
Because again, I love Clarence Williams III. I mean, he's also I got to shout this out. He's fucking Samson in Half Baked.
He is. That's right.
He's so fucking funny in that role. I love it.
I also had like the sequel, like Frank's case, Richie defending him as his lawyer. It said he was his first client. I think that could be an interesting, like, and then you would get them two together interacting more.
That'd be something I'd tune into.
Yeah.
So they also, that's what's so dumb though about the fact that like you could have just been like you could have somewhat, I think you could have shown a little bit, taken out some other scenes, like more of the family barbecue and other shit like that, to give the first, like you could have stayed true to history. You could have had Frank go away, get out, Frank right back into heroin, then Richie, because like there's no way that Richie, as a prosecuting officer, the arresting officer rather,
is not going to
prosecute the case. So he's clearly the first
the whole thing was weird too. Like he was the officer who ran the unit, who ran the case, and then he's also going to prosecute the case. That is not how that works usually.
No, he's not prosecuting that case that he arrested him for.
No, but they show him in court. He has a new suit.
But he
on.
could be an expert witness.
Remember?
Or he could be testifying.
Says, Your Honor, we're going to present the facts that
or a
continuity. Then, because he's not going to be the prosecutor at all for that.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird that they had him in that.
You're right. Okay, so logically.
I think it's movie magic of like Richie he passed the bar, so they're immediately going to put him into
because there'd be a
scene.
conflict of interest.
Also, they said with this movie, Richie never had a kid or whatever.
He never had a child in real life.
Also,
movie
he
magic.
was not the main guy. He's just one of the guys in the crew, not like the main guy. But
they got to make head.
I'm just saying, just for our listeners at home, if you're curious what's different from real life in the movie, I researched. That was one of the things.
To me, and I'll just kind of wrap this part up before we kind of grade it, is just like I think the takeaway from all these podcasts always is going to be like, we're giving our opinions on it. I think you should watch the movie for sure. And then from there, though, I think that based on true story, I feel like everybody's going to come to find there are things that are different from it. To me, that really kind of like is interesting to me to see like what did they embellish, what did they go the different direction on. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's like, hey, that made more sense to do this. A lot of times I would feel, I'm just stating this, like a lot of times I feel like they add in a wife or a child or something like that to improve, like to say, hey, there's a family aspect.
I always think it works better when you go into the movie not knowing about it, and then
I'm always saying after,
and then you look at it after,
right?
If you go in knowing it and then you're like, what? This is.
Here's one thing that is legit: that chinchilla, jacket suit. He had that
for
in
sure.
Real life, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I got you. I'm just saying. I would say to all the movies that we're always
we always recommend go watch it.
I would say watch it, form your own opinions.
If it were
and
me, I always watch the movie first, then listen to the podcast. But you guys do what you want.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, this is the thing is that unfortunately, my editing has not been on point yet, so we're coming out a little late. But I mean, there's going to be. Podcast upon podcast. I know that Sanoop, shout out, gave a good idea of like putting in the title, like, hey, this is the movie that we review or the album, so that people know, like, oh shit, they're gonna.
As part of our like naming convention when we put it out.
Right,
there.
so
like
that
episode
people
34, blah blah blah.
Right, and then if they're, you said that?
Yeah.
At what time?
Like months ago, I don't know.
Hey, maybe he had to hear it from someone else, so it works.
I was like, we should put the name of the album and the movie in the title description.
I feel like we've talked about a lot of ideas.
We put it in the description. We definitely have done that, though.
That's
okay. Anyway.
All right. So rate it, review it. Bobby, you want to start with me?
No, you go ahead.
All right, I'll start.
Ready.
This is available on a bunch of shit right now. It's a very popular movie.
It's on
Max
Max.
and Hulu, Premium, and some other places. I would say that my rating is going to be I'm going to do a 9.5.
Damn.
So it's pretty respectable right there. I would say this is an own it for Denzel. Again, this is my personal preference that I like the slower aspect of Denzel. For people who are like, well, I like Training Day Denzel, this isn't the same guy. It's a little bit different.
It's more dialed back.
More dialed back.
Yeah.
But again, I think his presence in the scenes and the fact that he's going head to head against multiple people, it really shows off that Denzel's a fucking one of the greatest.
Yep.
But again, I would also say,
Nice.
there are other movies above this that, in my opinion, Denzel is better at.
Yes.
Okay.
I say, for me, I own it. I have the DVD. I would own it. I think this is a movie that's a very good movie but you look at it and the cast and everybody in it and Denzel and Russell Crowe and Ridley Scott, and I feel like it should be even better than it is. Like an all-timer. And for me, it's not an all-timer. It's very good, though. But I'm just saying, like, with the whole gangster movie thing and this cast and this director, and I'm not saying it's bad.
No,
it's very
but-
good. I just think, like, to me, like you said, like, oh, I put it with Goodfellas. I wouldn't even have it close to Goodfellas. Like,
I think
okay.
it's not even.
It's not even the same ballpark.
I thought you
No.
were talking just in the fact that they're both like mob mentality. They kind of go.
But
into
he's
that
saying
world.
it doesn't even like hold a candle.
Was that not what you were saying though? I'm not saying it compares.
No, for me,
to it.
I really think it's. I think Goodfellas is here, but I think American Gangster is not too far behind.
Oh, okay.
I think they're in different. I think they're in different tiers.
They're in different fucking worlds. Man.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think even for
sandpaper.
even
off.
for Denzel movies, this I don't know where it would rank among me. I think it'd be top 10, but it might be in the back half, not the front half.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you give your?
I'm gonna give it 8.7.
8.7.
So like I said, it's very good, very well done. It just is a little long. I would say that's my only thing. It's a little long.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna put that on sandpaper.
And the pacing could maybe be a little better.
I'm putting mine as a 9.6. I think this is one of his better. I think definitely in the top 3 of Denzel's performances.
Hey, everybody has.
And you know what?
Sorry, can I just ask what's 1 and 2 or one? What's the order? What do you got? Shot out of a cannon. You got to fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
Well, asking him or me?
I'm asking him, and then I'll ask you.
Okay.
I liked him. I guess for me, let me just explain why I think this is top 3 for him. I think Denzel as a person could best articulate and best find himself in a Frank Lucas compared to some of his other characters that he portrayed. I think for him, it's not too much of a shift. He's a very intelligent man. He's very controlled. He knows exactly what he wants to say, and that's what Frank Lucas does. So that's, for me, I think that takes on a different level. Now, I can't put Man on Fire or like John Q in the same category. Like he does a great job in either one of those, but it's a different dynamic. It's a different character. It's a different person.
Sure.
I think Frank Lucas best resembles Denzel Washington.
I guess maybe I'm not. I mean, I'm talking about performance and also kind of more. I'm talking about how much I want like the movie as well. Like how much maybe I'll return to rewatch it.
But for this one,
a little bit of both. I know,
and I love Goodfellas, a high regard. I'm just saying, I think you knocked this a little too hard. That's all.
Nah, I was just trying to just be like.
Yeah, you're being honest. I like it.
I feel like if you had never seen this and you're like, oh my god, American Gangster, Denzel, Russell Crowe, this is going to be the greatest in a gangster movie. It's going to be the greatest of all time. The greatest.
You're saying like seeing this first and then Goodfellas, they would tarnish the this one.
I think if you saw Goodfellas and then this, you would be like, Goodfellas is much better. And
I thought you were trying to go opposite of this. Like if you've never seen an American Gangster and then you saw Goodfellas, it would ruin American Gangster because Goodfellas was so much better. Is that?
Yeah, that's basically
okay, same concept. Yeah.
And for me, like for Denzel performances, definitely the 2 we already did. Training Day, Remember the Titans. He Got Game. I haven't seen Malcolm X, but I know he's really good in that. I love Crimson Tide.
Did we say 3? Top 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were just going. Okay.
Just like I'm
Training Day, Remember the Titans, and I like Flight.
You love Flight, man. We all know that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to you, but I would take out Remember the Titans, Training Day, Flight, and then John Q.
John Q's very good.
I'm a John Q guy for the powerful, like, again, it's a family matter, but like John Q is like, this is the unhinged Denzel, just like in Flight, kind of like where he gets to that level. That's my
favorite kind of Denzel.
That's my
too,
favorite
where he's
kind
a
of
little
Denzel.
off the rails.
Yeah.
This
See, maybe that's in our different taste. I like him when he's more, put together.
That's
like
probably
said,
what it is. I
walk over there with a suit on, put a bullet through his head, come walking back, finish your paper,
Yeah.
have a little coffee,
I kind of like more of Denzel when he gets to do a little, like, cook a little more. Like I said, like
Let him cook.
Like Flight and Training Day, he's a little more loud and crazy. I remember Titans, he's yelling at a bunch of people and he's passionate. Like,
Who's your daddy, Gary?
Right. Like, I think there's more. That to me is my favorite type of Denzel.
Okay. All right. I mean, the ending of Denzel, the trilogy.
I really enjoyed it.
That was really fun. We're gonna do that again. We're gonna switch
we could
it up.
easily do him again. Also, anytime we wanted.
I think
we got to switch it up.
a year. No, I'm saying like next year or whatever.
Sure.
Like
we can run it by.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say we do the Denzel trilogy every year.
I'm good with that.
Like, there's so many we could easily.
for sure.
Like,
And I like that we're gonna kind of we're gonna
Yeah.
rank them and do all that shit. But okay, so the next movie is my choice, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we going back to just random?
Yes, we're gonna be out of Denzel, no specific actor.
So I know at some point you said we're going to.
We want to do categories or like pick out a
kind of
hat.
thing,
Yeah, we'll do that.
But
soon.
whenever, I don't care.
Yeah, I would say we get into some regularity.
Let's find our rhythm
of
and pop
Yeah,
that in there.
let's go. All right, I'm down.
You did mention that whole description in the title thing. Now I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, either
Pre-production
good. Moving on. I'm gonna go with a. Just it's the perfect time. I'm feeling golf, baby. Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yes!
Coming up, sir.
Oh yeah.
I remember on the
Tried and
course.
true.
On the course, I was saying Happy Gilmore quotes up the yin yang. So
This is your second Adam Sandler one, isn't it?
I did.
he did the Wedding Singer before.
Oh, okay.
Our second episode.
Okay,
as a
yeah.
group.
But we'll do Happy Gilmore. We'll chop it up. Also, again, this is going to work perfectly. Also, I feel like because we're going to do the first annual the Journeymen Lounge podcast golf outing on Ryan's birthday next week. So
yep.
We'll get that cracking.
Actually,
We'll get
that does work perfect because we can just fucking talk about Happy Gilmore.
we'll
right
talk
now.
about Happy Gilmore. We're gonna golf some fucking golf and then have a good time, boys. So any last thoughts here, boys? Give me something to go out on.
I can't wait to do Happy
I hope
Gilmore.
you guys bring your A game because I'm coming for you on
this is-
Juneteenth. I'm coming for you.
I just hope I can just get under 100. I'll be happy.
I'm gonna get in Woj's head like hole 2, so I'm not too worried about his performance.
Bobby, I got one question for you.
Okay.
How much money do you think you're going to pay me on Wednesday?
Those par threes, I'm gonna own all of them. So you could slip me a
What do
20
you, like,
right now.
Fucking Muhammad Ali. What round do you think I'm gonna knock you out in?
I'm gonna be in your head by what? Hole 2. You're gonna get all pissed off and start shanking everything. Don't worry.
This is what you're doing.
This is what we're doing.
This is what I want you to do. Any
Ain't
questions?
gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
Dude, Master of Disguise. Who of those are out there? You know. Master of Disguise. It will be done soon.
Terrible.
The Journeyman Lounge podcast coming at you next week. Get ready, boys and girls.
That'll be for our segment. Movies so bad they're good.
Ryan, I will smack your face as soon as I turn this
I
goddamn
kind of like
camera
that
off.
category. All right,
Fucking,
put a bow on it there.
I just did. I fucking signed
Well, you did a
off on
shitty
this.
job, just like golf next week. Don't worry, guys. Come back around. I'll be winning. They'll have some 102 score. I'll be in the 80s. All right, cool. Put a dime on it.
All right. Journeyman Lounge podcast out.